I've been shooting with the Sony A7R IV and the 100-400 G Master lens for the past 15 months. I've used this lens and camera combination for action, wildlife and landscape photography, but recently I did something a little bit different. Find out what in this week's video. G'day everyone and welcome to this week's video. Apologies, it has been a couple of weeks since I uploaded my last video, but it's great to be back out shooting again today. I've been a little bit busy over the last couple of weeks, but finally got a chance to get it back out today. And after a series of some really glum weather over the last couple of weeks, I've come today to one of my favourite locations, which is Somersby Falls. I've been here on plenty of occasions shooting videos before. I thought it'd be nice to come up here today, get some shots of the falls. We've got some really overcast, subdued light today, so it's perfect for waterfall photography. And I come back here and do something slightly different to my normal waterfall photography. I'll talk to you about that in a little while. Plenty of water down at the waterfalls today, and I've shot this place many times, but usually when I'm doing my waterfall photography, I'm using my 16-35 wide angle lens. But today I wanted to do something different, so that's why I've brought along this, my 100-400 GM lens. And today I'm going to do something completely different and challenge myself a little bit more. I'm going to be looking for compositions within the overall composition, zoom in and get some nice tight abstract type shots. Thought it'd be nice today to try and do something a little bit different and push myself a little bit more and get some use out of this beautiful lens. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm just going to move around the scene handheld and have a look through the viewfinder and see if I can pick out some compositions before I actually move to my tripod and set up for my final shot. So after a few delays, I've finally got my first shot set up with the 100-400, and currently I'm sitting at about 100mm. And I've just zoomed in onto the waterfalls, the main falls themselves. I'm using my ISO's about 100. My shutter speed at the moment is about half to 1 second. I'm getting some really nice flow. I'm concentrating mainly on the center of the waterfall there. We've got some really nice dark contrast between the black and the white of the water. With this first shot in the bag, looks really nice. I'll give you a look at it through the viewfinder. So this is what I'm looking at through my viewfinder at the moment. Because it's on video at the moment, obviously it's cropped in a little bit. But as you can see there, I've got the water at the top right of the frame coming diagonally across the frame, and then we've got those separate little cascades either side. What I am finding is it's taking a little bit of extra time to really work these compositions out. It's not as straightforward as coming with the wide angle and just placing it down and getting some really nice foreground. The next composition, this time I've set up vertically and I've gone slightly higher in the falls. And again, I'm about at 100mm. I don't need to be much more because I am quite close to the falls. But at the moment I'm just experimenting with shutter speeds of around about half a second. I've got my polarizer on the front and I'm just dulling down the waterfalls just ever so slightly, and the polarizers really help to make the colours pop. But I really like the abstract nature of this one. In this shot I've actually going horizontally, I've got the water coming from right to left diagonally through the scene, and again I've got these really nice little sets of falls. In the foreground I've got some just really nice little cascading rocks just down low in the shot. I think it really works really nicely. Fire this shot and then I'll move around a little bit more and look for some more compositions. Perfect conditions here at Somersby this morning. And I'm really enjoying just shooting this abstract style and getting really tight with the telephoto. Just experimenting with another composition here. I'm at f8 at a quarter of a second. I'm just using this dead tree on the left hand side, coming across the top on the rule of thirds grid line and just touching on the right hand side. And I like the way the dead limb with the water flowing in the background really provides some really nice contrast to the scene. I'm showing you now the actual view through my viewfinder that's a little bit cropped in, but I'm going to fire this shot and then I'm moving on down to the bottom falls. Well, I hope you can hear me. We've made it down to the bottom sets of falls, and after recent rains there's a lot of water going over the falls and it's really beautiful down here this morning. I'm going to start looking around for some compositions now using the 100 to 400. I'll try and pick out some different compositions down here, but this has been really enjoyable. A bit of a challenge and very different to shooting with the 16 to 35, but something I'm really enjoying. What I'm basically doing now is I'm just down the bottom and I'm sitting with my camera on my tripod. Picked out a composition here that I've got vertically, and I've actually got up on the top section of the waterfall up there. I've got the water crisscrossing and coming from both ways and then dropping down and dropping off the left hand side of the frame. I really like the way this shot looks, but it's certainly a challenge with the 100 to 400 down here. You're finding that where you would normally move up close to the waterfall, I'm having to move back further and further. I'm getting some compression in the shots using the 100 to 400, but it's not a problem. The shots are coming out really nicely. Shutter speeds of around half to 1 second are working quite well, so I'm really enjoying this. Just using my remote cable release so I don't have to touch the camera at all and introduce any shake into it. I've got my camera nice and firm on the rock platform here, so I've got no movement whatsoever. I've just changed my composition ever so slightly. I'm shooting vertically with the polarizer on the front. I'm at about half a second at the moment at f8, and I've zoomed right in on this little waterfall that I've got up here. It can't be any more than a metre and a half high, but by being able to get right in tight with the telephoto lens, it gives the illusion that it's a much bigger waterfall. I'm just being really careful this morning. I'm checking my histogram constantly, and then after I've taken my shots, I'm zooming right in on the water and checking the detail in the water, because with most waterfall photography it's quite easy to clip the highlights and actually lose some of that detail in the water, so I'm being really careful of that. But this morning, having this naturally overcast day is providing some perfect conditions for waterfall photography. This is so different to using the 16 to 35 wide angle to shoot waterfalls, and it's something I've really had to try and adjust to this morning, but I've probably just found an abstract composition here which I think is my favourite so far of the morning. I've got the rock on the right hand side and the rock on the left hand side, and I've got the water coming down through the rocks, and it's actually acting like 4 separate quarters within the frame. And I really like this composition. I've zoomed right in, get a nice tight composition, and firing my shot at about half a second. Well, that was a fun morning here shooting the waterfalls with telephoto lens. It's something I wouldn't normally do, and it was definitely a learning curve this morning. And that completes this week's video, guys. You know what to do. If you've enjoyed the video, go down below, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the notification bell, and you'll be notified when I upload my next video. Comments or questions, leave them below. I'll always try and respond. Hopefully I'll be around shooting some more landscapes soon. I'll see you then.